Hey YouTube, it's T-Bay. I'm finally doing this requested video that basically I've been getting requests for the past several months, basically on Loc Advice. I haven't done this video before because I didn't feel like I was knowledgeable enough to starting out my own journey. But now that I'm over a year, I feel like I can really give better advice on, to newbies and people who are considering locks now that I've already gotten past my first year. Where to start? Basically, when you first consider getting locks, I suggest you do research. Do research on all the different methods of locking, the different partings you can get, or just the different methods like interlocking, back combing, comb coils, anything of that nature, just so you can see what different techniques or methods you can use to start out locks. Most likely, if you're looking at my channel, you're interested in manicured locks like mine, which is not, free forming or not, organic locks that just grow naturally without much maintenance. Locks do require maintenance. It can be tedious at first, but it gets easier over time. Once you decide what type of locks you want, either find someone who can do them or do them yourself. It's really your choice on whether you want to start them yourself or get them done professionally. Depends on what part of the country you live in, depending on what type of, what you have available in your area. If you live in New York, you have plenty of people to choose from to get your locks done. But if you live in a place like Missouri or Alabama, or a place where people aren't really educated on natural hair to do locks, you may consider doing it yourself. Basically, you should just focus on your partings and how you want your locks to come out. Most people like locks on the thinner side, but you should really try to get them at least the size of a pencil as a standard, maybe a little bit smaller, but not too much smaller, only because in the long term, talking years from now, thinner the locks are, the more problematic they can be as far as maintenance and as far as, losing locks over time due to thinning and breakage. When I first wanted locks, I wanted really small locks. Not as small as sister locks, but maybe a tad bit bigger than them. But after doing my research and speaking with my loctician, I decided that I wanted thinner locks that would last me a lifetime. Those are his words. So I ended up picking, well, not even picking, but he ended up picking the size locks that I have now, which are thicker than most people, but to me it is suitable for me because I know 5 years from now I'm going to have all 105 locks that I have on my head now, because the parting that I have are a nice full size, and the likeliness of my hair thinning out and breaking at the edges is very minimal. So you should think about that before getting your locks, about how thin it, how locks do thin out over time naturally, and how you will have to worry about that later. Once you decide what type of locks you want, do it. Don't wait, just do it, because the longer you wait and contemplate, that's time that's passing. So if you want them, get them. Don't wait 4 years like I did before actually locking your hair and then realizing that, oh, I could have did this a while ago. As this is for women, I don't know how men are, but if you're used to wearing weaves and braids and perms, it can be very difficult to get used to yourself without all that. So I know why people wait, because that's why I waited, is because you don't want to go through the ugly stage. But that stage does pass rather quickly, and you'll end up with beautiful locks in no time. Once you get your first set in, you should wash them. You should wash your hair basically as often as you did before locking your hair. So if you washed your hair every week before locking, you should continue to wash them on that basis. If you wash your hair every 2 weeks, you continue to wash your hair on that basis. There's no reason not to wash your hair. You can wash it as soon as you start locking. Me personally, when I first started my locks, I went to a professional, so I didn't wash my hair but once a month for the first 5 to 6 months. But after I started maintaining it myself, I started washing it every other week or every 2 weeks or so, because I really did not like waiting that whole month. By 3 weeks in, I was going crazy, but because I was on my loctician's schedule, not mine, I had to go with what he recommended me. But when I did my daughter's locks, I wash her hair every week. So it really is your hair, and depending on your hair and your hair's needs, you can wash your hair as much as you want. I feel washing your hair often helps your hair lock up quicker. It keeps your hair clean, free of lint and debris. It is definitely something that you should do. Don't listen to people tell you your hair has to be dirty, because that's not true. You can definitely wash your hair, and it's important that you do know that, because there's a lot of misconceptions out there that you should not wash your hair. You definitely should wash your hair. Wash your hair on the same schedule that you always have washed your hair on before you start locks. As far as products, everyone's hair is different. So something that works on my hair may not work on your hair, because we have two different textures of hair. Your hair can be finer, curlier, coarser, what have you. So the products I use may not work for you. So I don't really recommend products to people. I can just tell you what I like and what I recommend for myself. But the only thing I can say is that you should use a water-based product. Nothing with beeswax in it. Nothing with petroleum in it. Nothing that can cause your hair to build up and attract lint. Beeswax does attract lint. Petroleum attracts lint. So I would try to stay away from things that have those products in them. Yeah. If you want your hair to be healthy, just don't use those. You should shampoo and condition your hair. People say not to when you're first starting locks. I don't know why. People who have kinky hair, like coarse like mine, can use conditioner, because locks do not just slide out of your head. It's not something that's going to happen. If you have coarse hair, you washing and shampooing your hair is not going, and conditioning your hair is not going to change that. Your hair, your locks will still be there. Especially if you're more than like 3 months in and you have coarse hair. I'm talking kinky, not like wavy hair. You can condition it, and it does leave your hair soft, because you don't want your hair hard. You want it to still be soft and touchable and healthy, because locks is just hair that's matted together, but it's still hair, so you should still condition it if you want your hair to be soft. So whether it's conditioning with conditioner or hot oil treatment, some type of conditioning should be done. As far as moisturizing and oiling your scalp, that's all in your preference. I do moisturize my locks, but very seldomly. Normally I do put the moisture and the oil in right after I wash it, and I really don't put too much more oil in it until my next wash. I may put a little bit on my hands and go like this, just to add a little sheen to it, but my hair doesn't really need that much. Whatever I put in it when I first do it, when I first retwist it, pretty much lasts me the whole 2 weeks. Now if you go longer than 2 weeks in washing your hair, it may not last. You may want to apply a bit of oil to keep your hair soft and supple. But as far as oiling my scalp, I really don't do that. I really don't, but I don't have a need for it. I don't have dry hair. But your hair naturally has, your scalp naturally secretes oils over time. Although, kinky hair doesn't really have as much oil as, say, a Caucasian person. But your hair still does have natural oils in it. So that's really up to you. There's no miracle grow out there that you can put on your scalp that makes your hair grow faster. Your hair grows at the rate it grows. Doesn't matter if you have locks or not. Hair does not grow faster because of locks. It still grows at the same rate. It's just that the hair that normally sheds doesn't shed. It stays in the lock, which makes your hair appear to grow longer. But it's still, appear to grow faster, but it's still growing at the same length. And it's never going to grow faster unless you change your diet or eating habits, maybe add some vitamins to your diet. That may help, because your body's getting extra nutrition that it didn't have before. But there's really nothing out there that can make your hair grow, so really don't believe all these miracle products out there can actually make your hair grow. It's a shampoo.